All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's a leg day today. We have lower body strength and abs today. For equipment, some specific stuff that you guys are going to need. A chair. We're going to be doing some hip thrusts as well as some split squats. So you're going to want something to elevate your back foot. If you don't have a chair, something like this. You can also use a stair or stool, something like that. And of course, I have options that do not require this chair. So if you don't have it, do not stress about it. In addition to that, I'll be using the 8-pound dumbbells as well as my loop bands and this mat. That's it. Let's get you guys started laying down on the floor. You will need some space around you, this one. I'm going to start off laying down on one side with my legs stacked on top of each other at a 90-degree angle. Stacking our arms and shoulders. We'll take a big breath in and then exhale across the body, trying to touch the shoulder down to the floor. And then we'll bring it right back across. Hello, I have a dog friend here. And do this 10 times per side. And I'm going to get rid of you because you are very up close and personal. So we'll get you guys going through 10 on this side, and then we will switch and do 10 on the other side. Lexi, come here. Come here, Lexi. She doesn't listen either. Come here. Good girl. Okay. Go home. Go home. I guarantee you, she is going to come back up. Okay, so we'll get that going on one side, and then we shall switch and do the same thing on the other side. So you guys can just flip over, stack those knees up, trying to keep our knees together. Exhaling, crossing our body. If you do have room as well, you can extend your arm, but I didn't. And we'll do 10 of those per side. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that, you guys. Life of pets. Okay, so sorry about that. Next one we're going to go into is our 90-degree switches. So we'll get you guys in your 90-90 position. 90 degrees at both of our knees. Bottom of the foot in line with the shin. Should be relatively comfortable in this position. We'll lock the feet in place and flip the legs over. Right side, left side. You guys can go through 10 of these total, 5 each side. Good morning, Bobby's hopping in here for the live. Whoop, whoop. All right, we are down on the floor, rocking through our 90-90s. So 10 total. We'll go back and forth 10 times. Again, if you need to use that support from your arms, that's totally fine. 10 of them, and then we're going to get you guys standing back up to the top to go through our next one. Okay, so next one will be coming to the front of the mat, standing hip width apart in our feet, nice and tall, hands down by our sides. Stepping back into a lunge, sending both arms over our head, counting out 20 of these, alternating legs, right side, left side, 10 per side, keeping that chest up nice and high, opening up those arms, feeling a little bit of a stretch through the front of the hip here. And we are doing 20 of them, 10 per side. So we'll get you guys going through those ones. There we go. So we're breathing as we go through that. Every time you guys go down, we're exhaling as we send those arms up through 20. All right. And then we are going back down onto the floor to get our core all working and fired up and ready for these leg exercises we're going to do. So you guys always hear me talking about how your core and ab muscles, they're your built-in weight belt, because that's exactly what they do. They support this portion of our body for our torso and our lower back. So we're going to get everything in there activated, starting off laying on our back in this dead bug position. So we want the knees sitting over top of the hips, wrists sitting over top of the shoulders. Then take the palm of one hand, squish it into the knee, or top of the knee of the other, and then I'll extend the other opposite too. Exhaling as I go down, trying to squish that low back into the floor. 10 reps per side, and we're doing 2 sets of this one. So exhale. If you can't quite keep your back down, we'll send this leg down with a bend instead of with a straight. So we'll go through 10, exhaling on the way down, feeling all the stuff working through your abs and core. And then we'll switch and do the same thing on the other side, 10. And you guys have 2 sets of this one. So once you're done that side, we'll go back to the first one for our second and our last set. 10 of them. Okay, so we're feeling that work happening, fighting the floor with that low back, which is making us feel that even more up in there. So we'll go through those. Again, 2 sets of them. Woo! Should be feeling that. And then we're going to stand you guys back up to the top for the last one before we start on strength exercises. So the last one as well is about activation, but it is for our glutes, our glute. We're going to do our hip loaded step through. So this one is kind of similar to our single leg deadlift, but we're not worried so much about going all the way down in it. We're going to start off by standing, shifting all of the weight onto our working legs. So just pick whatever leg you want, then soften out that knee so we're not completely straight locked out like so. We'll hip hinge, sending our hips back behind us. Wherever this foot lands, that's where it lands. And then opposite arm and leg can work together. As we pull the hips forward, we can align those arms, and that's just good practice. If that messes you up, don't worry about it. Most important is what's happening in our hips. We're trying to push the hips back or load up those muscles in the back of our hips, back of our legs, and then we use them to pull our hips through. So we'll go through 15, 1-5 per side, 15 over here, and then we'll switch and do 15 on the other side. Something that might help you guys feel this a little bit more as well is thinking about slightly pushing your knee out over your pinky toe and not allowing it to kind of sink in like this. So the more we can do that, the more we're going to use on this side over here as we go through this. So something that you can think about as you go through this. 15, 15, and then we're going to get you guys started on these leg exercises. Woohoo! Okay, so should be feeling the glutes after that one. If you guys want, you can grab a quick sip of water. We are going to get you started on our first 2 exercises, starting off with the first one, which is going to be our step-ups. Now, over the past few weeks, we've been working on this step-up exercise, which I haven't actually been doing with you, because as I've moved into my new coaching space, I've also started using this chair, which is not ideal for stepping up onto. Number one, because it's all fancy smancy, but it's also very squishy, so it really throws off balance and it makes it a little bit unsafe. So instead, what I've been doing is working on my step back lunges or my skater squats, okay? So these are all options. Now, ideally, I would like you guys to have something to step up onto. But if you don't have that like me, then you're going to do one of these other 2 options, woo, balance, and then we're going to pair this with another movement. But let's start off with this one, okay? So we're working through 12 reps per side today. We're going up there in the reps. Last time we worked with a very slow down phase, and then we worked with a lower amount of reps. Today you guys are doing 12, a bit more normal in your tempo. What I'm going to do is hold on to my weights down by my sides and work with a skater squat where I'm touching my knee down, and then I'm trying to pull myself up like this. Now this is a very challenging exercise. Okay, you definitely don't have to do it like this. You can step back into the lunge like so, and then just step up to the top, kind of slightly using that back foot, a little bit easier. All right, going through 12 and 12. Let's do it. So we're trying to do single leg exercise, focusing on the back of the hips, back of the legs, is where we should feel it. So as we go through these lunges or the step-ups, we want to think about keeping our shin in this upright, more vertical position and not allowing the knee to drive forward over top of the toe. The more we can do that, the more we're going to use the back side, your glutes, and the more safe it's going to be on our knee. So you can actually look down and just check yourself and make sure that that knee is not driving forward. And that goes for the step-up, the lunges, or the skater squats. 12 and 12. Okay. So with this one, we're going to pair it with a squat, a front-loaded goblet squat. So I'm going to hold the weights in my front here, both of them to make the 16-pounder. And I'll get myself into my squat stance. Today we're working with normal tempo squats, going through 12 of them total. So 1, 2, 1, 2, ideally going down to 90 degrees, and then standing all the way up to the top. So we've had pauses and pulses and all this crazy stuff going on in our squats. Today we're just doing normal ones, but we still want to really think about what we're feeling. As you guys go down, trying to feel that stretch happening through the back of your hips as well as the front of your legs. And then we want to squeeze ourselves up, starting at the bottom. So trying to be very active in our lower body muscles as we're going through our 12 reps of these ones. Woo! All right, so if you're not feeling your legs after the first one, you most likely are feeling them now. So once you guys are done, we will take about 30 seconds, 45 seconds of rest where you can just shake it out, grab yourself a quick sip of water, whatever you guys want to do. And then we will start our second, third, and fourth set. So you're doing 4 rounds of this stuff. So then once you guys are done those squats, a couple deep breaths, right? H2O. And then when you're ready, we will get going into our second set. We'll try to definitely keep that rest less than a minute so that we can get through this stuff on time. So, second set. So if you guys are kind of working on these skater squats, this is one I've been talking about a little bit more specifically over the past few weeks, especially because I don't have my something to step up onto. And so this is another technique that you can try if you are wanting to get better at these skater squats and improve at them, is having this sort of counterbalanced weight. So I can hold one single dumbbell, and again, it can be like a household item or something like that, holding it in front of you. And this usually makes this feel a lot easier because we have this bit of counterbalance, which is helping us stand up a little bit easier than if we were to hold weights down by our sides. And for some people, like, it actually makes them possible over not holding anything because of that front loaded weight. So it's a little something you guys can try if you would like. All right. So we'll definitely have started our second set. We'll get you guys working through this. Same thing that you did on the first set, whichever one you were working with. There it is. Good job, you guys. 12 and 12. So another thing that we can think about in all of these versions of these step-ups or lunges is not making contact with that foot, that non-working foot on that non-working leg. So if I was stepping up or lunging, go back down, of course I touch the floor down here, and then at the top I'll try to either drive the knee up or just simply not touch it down onto the floor, which is going to give me a lot more work in terms of my stability and my balance, which is something we're always trying to sneak in there. And so it's something that we can think about on these last 2 sets. So you guys have 2 more rounds of this. Woo, leg burners. So we'll go right into our set of goblet squats. Now, for those of you who do not have dumbbells, we could definitely go body weight, or if you want, you could add your bands around your knees. You can also do this with the dumbbells if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, just a little bit more butt focused, because as we have this band around our knees, and I have it just right above my knees, going through my squats, the band wants the knees in. So I have to use a lot more through my hips and through my glutes to keep those knees apart. So regardless if you're using dumbbells or not, this can make this feel a lot more involved, which is what we want. We want to feel that work. We don't want to finish our set and be like, I could keep going, or where was I supposed to feel that? We want to feel it in the right place. The lower body. Okay, so third set, you guys, and taking a little bit of rest once you're done your squats, and then we'll get going right into our third and fourth set. Let's do it. Yes. So we're breathing through these, taking this rest, grabbing our water. And then we'll get going on our third set. So again, trying to maintain that more upright shin in this last set. And you'll feel the difference. You'll also feel, as we have our shin up like this, that your upper body wants to sort of come down a little bit more, which is good. That's going to help us use more here. If I wasn't having my chest slightly come forward, and that's just to keep us straight back, I'd be up like this, and I'd be going like this, and I'd feel pressure in my back. But because I'm pulling my core in, it brings me forward slightly. It allows me to push my hips back. And so it's something that we can do in this next set here, is sort of drive the hips back to have that shin stay up. And again, that's for use of the glute and overall keeping your knees tight, which are 2 things that we want. So third round, let's get it. Finishing strong. Okay, so you guys are working through 12, 12, and then 12 of our squats. Let's do it. There it is. Whip, whip, whip. Perfect. Okay, we are looking so good for time. You guys have about 3 minutes to finish up this set and your last one, which is coming up after this one. Plenty of time. There you go. All right, so we're shaking up the legs, doing all the things, getting mentally prepared for our last set. Okay, so final one. Going through 12 and 12, whatever version you guys are doing. Trying to work through nice and control reps. Let's do it. This is it on these ones. And then we're going to move on to the next ones. All right, so we'll take our time with it. 2 seconds up, 2 seconds down. You got it. All right, final set, you guys. These squats. I'm going to give you about 1 more minute, just over a minute, to finish these guys up. 12 of them. Okay. All right, let's get it. Last set, you guys. Feeling the leggies. Woohoo! So once you guys come to an end on those squats, you can grab yourself some water. Woo! Walk it out from those ones. And we are going to get ourselves set up for the next part for a split squat. So I have moved my chair here. It's actually kind of in the same place, but I pushed it up more against this cabinet that is quite stable. Kind of slide a little bit, should be fine. But I pushed up against there, so it's a more stable chair surface for elevated split squat that we're going to be working through. Now, those of you who do not have this chair here, you might have a stair or stool in your house that you can just elevate your back foot on, because a little bit of elevation makes a big difference in terms of what we're focusing. Without the elevation, we aren't going to be focusing the glutes as much, whereas with the elevation, we get more happening back here, which is why we are choosing to do it. Of course, if you guys don't have anything, we're going to have our back foot on the floor like this, and we will go through the same style and just a little bit less butte focus. So we're going to start you guys off going through body weight on the first set. We will be adding resistance, so keep it close, but we're going to do these a little bit different, so you might find body weight might be adequate, might be good enough for you. So we'll get ourselves into position, putting our back foot with our toes down up on our chair, sinking down and trying to find 90 degrees at both of our knees. So I am quite perfect right now. Okay, but if you need to adjust, you can. You can bring this foot down, move a little bit forward, a little bit backward, whatever you got to do. Normal reps. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're doing 10 of them. So you guys can start right now. 10 normal reps. Okay, let's do it. Arms are in front of us. You can do whatever you want with them. Okay, eventually they will be holding some form of resistance, whether it's weights or bands, maybe. That's what you guys got. We're going to start with 10 because after the 10, don't go anywhere on this leg. We're going to stay over here because we're going to follow the 10 with 10 pulses. The bottom 2, yes, 3. Let's go. 4, 5, 10 of them. Breathing through them. 8, 9, and 10. Ooh, that burns. Okay, we're going to switch legs. Ouch! And try that on the other side. So same thing, we'll elevate that other foot. And normal reps. 10 of them. Okay, so we're breathing through these, inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. You guys got it. Okay, and your depth depends on you. Ideally, 90 degrees is the goal. But maybe you got some stuff going on up in your knee. You don't want to sit that low. It's completely fine. Okay, 10. And then we sit and we do these pulses, controlled pulses and not bouncing, intentionally going up and down 10 times. Okay, breathing. 2 more. Woo, 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 burn the legs. Okay, so that was our first set. All right, we are going to be back there with the option to hold weights. Maybe, okay? With this one, we're going to pair it with our infamous hip thrust. So now I'm going to elevate my back on this chair, feet on the floor, stick in body weight here, because we're doing 20 reps, 20. So with these 20, we want to make sure we feel all the 20, every single one. So for the first few, we're not really feeling it back here, we'll hold. And then as we go through the reps, because you're doing 20, you might not need to hold. You might just feel, and then you can just leave. So we'll go through these 20. If you guys don't have the chair, on our back, squishing our back into the floor and going through the hip bridge on the floor, which is a little bit easier because we don't have as much range as when our back's on this chair. Okay, but it works if that's all you got. So 20. Okay, once you guys are done 20, well, this is due. We're going to do it again. Little to no rest in between. Okay, so we're trying to just go through these two back to back. Okay, once you are done hip thrust, if you need like a quick memento to just ponder your life, that's okay. You can grab a quick sip of water, but there is no prescribed like 45 seconds or a minute or whatever it is long rest here. Okay, we're trying to just go back and forth between these two 3 more times. All right, that first set did count. But if you want to make these next 3 sets a bit more challenging, we are potentially going to add weight. Now, that first set was like pretty dang hard if you ask me. Okay, I'm going to add these weights, but I might only add them for the reps, and then I might put them down for the pulses. We'll see how I feel, all right? If you don't have weights, you probably have bands, and you can do anchored band around opposite foot, and then same thing, if you want to use the band, the weight for all your reps, you can go through all 10, or maybe you can do 10 and then put them down for the pulses, all right? So let's do it again. Second set, whenever you guys are ready. Doing it again. Okay, again, if you don't have something to elevate your back foot, you're just going to go up and down, going through 10. And then again, followed by 10 up and down tensional pulses. Okay. Woo-wee! There it is. Good job, you guys. All right. A little bit of sneaky balance work in here, too. You got it. All right. So we'll go through 10 and 10. These ones, and then we'll switch legs. Whatever you guys did on that first side for your second set, we've got to do on the other side, okay? So if you added weights, keep them or pick them back up. If you put them down, keep them in your hands, whatever it is. We'll go through that second leg, trying to do the exact same thing that we did on the first. Woo! Even though it's just so challenging and it just burns and you don't want to do it, but you do it anyways. You feel so good after. All right, so right into our second set. Now the hip thrust, I mean, this is an exercise you guys see on the regular in all of our lower body days. Awesome exercise to help us develop our glutes. But again, sometimes it can be really challenging for us to feel this in the right places. And it's really important that you guys do feel in the right places. So if you're feeling pressure in your lower back or in your knees, or you're feeling so much in your quads, these are all things that we need to address, okay, that you need to fix so that you actually feel your butts when you're going through this. So if that's you, and if you are feeling any of those things that I just listed, then I would highly suggest that you come down onto the floor, lay on your back, and do them this style instead of up on the chair there. Because this one is very easy to correct, whereas that one can be a little bit more challenging. So the first thing on this setup, for those of you who aren't really feeling your back side, you want to make sure that our feet are in the right position. You can set them up there so they're about hip width apart, and we can feel them with a bit of a reach. So we don't want to feel them right away, but if I kind of bend to the side, they are there. If they're too far, we'll be feeling this hamstring. And if they're too close, like if I can't feel them right away, I'm probably going to feel my knees or the quads. Okay, so we want to find that little sweet spot there. You can always play around with it. And then the next thing we have to do is push our lower back into the floor. Okay, so that's gonna help us get that nice strong core and that bit of pelvic tilt in our hips. And then from here, we'll push up to the top. And we wanna keep our back in that same kind of crunched down position as we go through our set. Okay, and this should be foolproof in terms of you feeling your butt. Okay, if you're still not feeling it, add a band around your knees and try your set like that. Okay, and this really applies to those of you, again, who are not feeling your butt. So if you are all good there, then just keep doing your thing. But I want to emphasize how important it is that you guys are getting that going on in the right place. And we have a great opportunity today with these 20 reps for you to make that happen for yourself. So you guys have this one more to go. Yay! Again, we are doing 4 sets total, and although maybe that first set was like a little bit easier, maybe you didn't add weights or anything like that, it still is going to count as one of our 4. Sometimes we throw in these little sneaky warm-up sets. Okay, so we'll get you guys going on through your last couple sets, just as strong as you started. Woo! Even though it's getting harder, our legs are burning more, we can do this. Okay, so deep breaths. I know there's no rest here, so just, you need to take a couple breaths, that's okay. And then we'll get you guys going on your 3rd, your 4th set. Kind of rambled on a little bit there. And we'll go through this set nice and strong, 10 normal reps. Okay, make sure you're not going too slow, unless you want to make it a little bit harder, okay? But 10 followed by those 10 pulses. You guys have about 3 minutes until we need to be starting the next part. So 2, so you should be finishing this one. And then do one more part to a leg strength before it is a floor core time. We're gonna work our abs down the floor the last little bit. Yay! All right, so we'll get you guys going through the sets. Our final one coming up here. Woo! All right. There it is. Good job, you guys. So we have 2 more minutes here to finish it up. Yay. All right. This is it, you guys. Last set. Last time we are here. 10 and 10. Woo! We got it. All right. So strong finish. Breathing through these. I know they are the most burning. They're the most challenging right now, which means it is the most important that you guys just finish as strong as you can. Breathe through them. Try to control them as much as you can. Last set. There you go. Okay, so we're going to give you 1 more minute to finish this up. Good job, you guys. Burning legs. You are almost done this part. We're going to moving on to our final part here. 2 more exercises to go, and then we are hanging out on the floor. Not so bad, not so bad. Let's get through our hip thrusts first. 20 reps of them, okay? Feeling our glutes, holding if we need to, pausing at the top, not leaving the top of that rep so you actually feel some stuff happening back there. 20 times. All right. So this is it, you guys. Last part. We're going to move on in about 30 seconds. So we'll finish you up here. All right. Last set. Woo! Okay. So final part, you guys. We're going to start talking about it right now. so that we have time to get through it. Although the good news is today you guys are only doing 3 rounds of this final part here. So we have 2 exercises that we're going to pair together. First one is back into that hip thrusting position. We're going to work with our single leg hip thrust, okay? So ideally, I want you guys to do this off of a chair bench with an elevated upper back, but that is the harder way to do it. So if those of you who were not even feeling your glutes really or were really struggling with the hip thrust to begin with, maybe you should go back down on the floor down there, okay? Because it's really hard and it's a lot more manageable and you might feel it better doing it off the floor like we just did it there rather than off of the chair up here like this, okay? Because you guys are working through 15 reps per side, okay? So 15. Now, if you think you're good to go up here, then come on, get set up, upper back on the chair. But if you have a feeling that you won't really be able to get your hips all the way up, okay, or maybe you won't feel your butt because it's going to be too hard, then you can go ahead and lay on your back. Set up your feet same, but have them very close together on this one. And then we'll push up, lift the leg, and you can work through the single leg version. Same thing with the back, pushing down our back, and then driving up with that strong core. Okay, so we'll go through 15 reps of them. Let's do it. We got it. All right, first one, you guys got it. And when you're done this one, we are going to stand up, pair this with another exercise. So remember, you will have to be back there 2 more times. What a break today. We're only doing 3 sets. Okay, but they should be quality sets, quality reps. You want to feel all of them, all 15. So once you guys are done, we're going to stand up and pair this with our deadlift to double calf raise. So I'm going to be dumbbell loading with 2 dumbbells down by my sides here, standing in a narrow stance or hip width stance, my toes pointed forward. Dumbbells here, I'll be sending my hips back behind me, trying to keep the shins upright in this deadlift position. And then I'll stand and shoot onto the toes 2 times. Then we'll come back into the deadlift. And we're working through 15 reps of these total. So you guys can start off. Once you're done those hip thrusts, we'll go right into these ones. So I'm trying to bend the legs, but I want to keep my shins upright. So I'm sending my hips back, bending the knees, so I feel all this back here, and then we'll pull forward and up onto the toes, not touching the heel, and then doing 2 reps there. All right, so again, if you have dumbbells, I'm going to dumbbell load them here, and go through a little bit of balance, and do our thing. Those of you who are working with bands, what you can do is hold your band sideways like this, and then you can work with the dumbbell or the band in the front here instead of the dumbbells. Okay, so we're doing 15 of those guys total. 15 with the double calves. Those ones always get me on the balance. I really have to like focus, like find something to like draw my eyes onto. All right, so once you guys are done, this is you. 2 more rounds of this, no rest in between except the time that it takes us to get back down onto the floor, set up into that position, and then we'll go through 2 more rounds of this. Everybody's ready, which hopefully is right now. So back to this first one, our single leg hip thrust. 15 reps of them. Okay, so same thing. We want to start with a bit more narrow feet and push up to the top and find that strong core position. And then go through your set. 15. Let's do it. There it is. Woo! All right. So something that I want to talk about briefly as well on that single leg hip thrust, because I'm kind of on the theme of talking about those of you who aren't really feeling the hip thrust in the right place. A really good between our hip thrust and our single leg hip thrust is our staggered stance hip thrust, okay? So I'm going to show it to you on this chair. Same thing can be done down on the floor there with our floor variation. So what we want to do is get ourselves, my screen went all blurry there, get ourselves into the same position with our feet. And what we're going to do is have our feet here, and then one foot will just be out slightly. And this is our staggered stance, or some people call it like the kickstand variation, because we have a bit of help from this leg. It's not this hard, okay, to be the single leg, but it's not this easy to be the double leg. It's kind of a in between, all right? So if you're feeling like this is something you need in your life, or maybe next time, or maybe the time when you're trying to do this and you're not really feeling it, or it's too hard, that's something that you guys can try, okay? That staggered stance position. And I definitely will bring that up in the future. Remind you guys, it's a good one. All right, so second set, deadlift to calves, 15 reps with those 2 lifts at the top. And our final set is it. Last one. And we are getting down there onto the floor for the last time. We're hanging out down there. Roughing. Okay. Final set. 15, 15. There it is. Good job, you guys. All right, this is it. Final round. Again, getting up, going right into those deadlifts for the last set. Let's do it. Okay, last round. Final set. Woo! Strong finish, you guys. Taking us down to the floor. Okay. Woo! So let's do it. Last set, and then I am leg for wheels. Woo! About us going down. Sorry about that. If you were watching, that probably made you dizzy there. There we go. Okay, so once you guys are done that, yay and good job. Okay, take your time if you're not done. You have about 3 minutes until we really need to start our last part here. The couch arm is in it, but yeah. So we'll give you guys a couple more minutes to finish up. Once you're done, you can bring yourself down on the floor to stay. The cameras move down, and we don't need any of this equipment. So I'm going to actually move our chair out of the way, and our dumbbells. We don't need any of it. We are going to be working body weight, except we will need my timer. Okay, so take your time. Finishing that part up there, you guys. There we go. Okay. 15 reps with the double calves. Once you guys are done, you can grab yourself some water, walk it off from the leg stuff for the very last time, because it is time to work our abs and our core. Yay. Okay. So, final part. We are working off of a timer, which is good news. Okay, it means that you don't have to count. You just have to do. We do not need any equipment except our mat and our body, the best piece of equipment there is. You guys are going to be working through 3 exercises off of this here timer. 60 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Okay, so we got some long rounds here, not a lot of rest. We're going to go through 3 rounds total of these 3 movements, really just with that 20 seconds of rest in between. Okay, so we're gonna get this done and then we are done after this. All right, so we'll start off with this first one, which is our long lever plank hold. Now, 60-second plank hold. If someone said that's hard, okay, I find that challenging to begin with. So I might struggle to hold the long lever position. I might just want to hold a regular plank. Okay, we'll talk about these things as we go through this. The long lever, as opposed to the regular, makes it a lot harder. Okay, and I'll show you how. Normal plank is like this, shoulders stacked over the elbows. Long lever plank, I walk my feet back, so now my shoulders are beyond my elbows. That puts much more work and stress on my core and ab muscles. And so you might want to come back here if you need to. Okay, but we'll try our best to at least just maintain some form of a plank for this 60 seconds. All right, you guys ready? I'll show you the other 2 on the timer. Let's just get this started so we can get this done. You know what I'm saying? All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Very subtle beep, but it was a beep. So we'll start you guys off holding this position here, breathing through this plank. Again, if you are good at planks, if you like planks, you want to challenge yourself. Walk your feet back. Okay, the further back you go, the harder. All right? Try to at least just stay in some form of a plank for 30 more seconds. Okay? Even if you have to do the half plank, try to hold a full plank. Okay, I think you can do it. Even just for this first set. All right, see if you can just push yourself to not let those knees touch down. If you're not going to make it, you can widen up your feet a little bit. 15 seconds, you guys, you've got this. Woo! Yes. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Amazing job. Okay, so the next 2 are going to be on our back. So you guys can flip over, woo, lay on your back down here with me. Good news, I know. Maybe not so good once we start. Okay, so we're going to take our hands and put them behind our head and give ourselves some support for our neck. Lift up both of our legs. Squish our back into the floor so tight, as tight as we can. Drop your heels down, touch them to the floor, and then exhale and try to bring your elbows and your knees together. Now you don't have to touch. If you can, that's great, but you don't have to, so don't force anything. Just come together so that your shoulder blades leave the floor, and then we want to come down so that the shoulders and the elbows touch, and then exhale and bring it in together. Okay, so again, if you need to make this easier, you could even leave your legs in place and just do this more isolated crunch like this without the leg lifts, and work through that until you work up the strength, the courage to do the legs and the arms. Okay, this is pretty hard. 15 seconds left, my friends. You got this. Go breathe through those ones. You got it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice work, you guys. All right, so 20 seconds here of breathing through them. Last one. We're gonna go through legs up in the air like this. I don't want to start you guys too early. So straight legs, straight arms. I'm gonna make a triangle in my hands. Reach my arms back behind my head, and then exhale and crunch up and try to bring my hands. My legs are straight, my arms are straight, and it just physically is never going to happen. But I still will go in that direction and try to reach for my toes. If I want to make this harder, I'll try to keep my arms behind my head more, back here, rather than bringing them in front, which is going to make it much more challenging. Okay, we do not have any neck support here, so we are getting some work happening in the muscles in the front and the back of our neck. There is muscles up in there, which is why you're feeling maybe a little bit of burning pain in your neck. So if it's just that dull pain, that's okay. But if you need a little bit of support, then you could go back into this behind the head variation, okay? But we do want to work those muscles, so try to not overly support them. 10 seconds left. You got this. 3, 2, 1, and time. Good job, you guys. Okay. Woo. So here we go again. We're going to do it 2 more sets, and then we are done. Like done. All right. So the first one, don't forget. How could you forget? I'm just kidding, you didn't. It is a plank. We're going to hold it for 1 minute, starting in 3, 2, and that was the beep. It's a very quiet one. Got the little tunes playing over top of it. That's okay. I'm going to hold this 60 seconds. Now I have my arms, my forearms in this parallel position. Now I'm quite specific sometimes on where we want our hands. This is going to be a better position for you guys to practice, because if you're planking with your hands together like this pushing here generates some pressure through our upper body muscles, through our chest, through our shoulders. It actually takes some work off of our core, which is why it might feel harder for you to separate your arms like this rather than have them together. Okay, so obviously I'm always trying to push you guys to do the harder stuff, which is why I'm constantly trying to talk about it and educate you on it so that you know, so that you might try it one day and get stronger from it. 10 seconds left. Okay, so just breathe through this. You have 1 more set after this. Okay, we got this. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice work, you guys. Okay, we'll lay on our back here. Take a couple deep breaths. Get ourselves mentally prepared for these last two of our second set. Okay, so knee to elbow crunches. So we have our hands behind our head, legs up at 90 degrees, back into the floor nice and tight. If we can, we'll drop those heels down and then exhale and crunch in and together. So inhaling down, exhaling as we come up and together. We want to use that breath on the hard part, which is the way up. Woo! Okay, good job, you guys. So we're breathing through these ones. You got this. 20 seconds left. The flow. Yay! So breathe through them. Exhale, bring it together. See if you can get through a few more of them. Here it is. Let's go, let's go. Less than 10 seconds, you guys. One, two more. And slow and controlled. All the way up, all the way down. And time, rest. Nice work. Okay. So we are resting. Let me see if I can turn Big Beaver. Let's see if that works. All right, so take a couple deep breaths. Set your legs up. We're getting a little straightening of the legs. The sneaky hamstring stretch going on here. Arms back. Exhale and crunch it up. Let's go. Timer has started. That did not make the beep any louder, but that's okay. We got this. So exhale as we bring it up. I'm trying to go through this one. Same thing with your lower back. We're trying to keep it as tight as we can to the floor the entire time. Halfway there, you guys. 30 seconds left. There you go. You got this. Breathe through these. Try to relax your shoulders. Tuck that chin in. 15 seconds. Keep those legs up there. You're so close. 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Good job, you guys. Rest, rest, rest. Okay. Last set, my friends. This is it. We're going to get her done, starting with the plank. Put it first so that we get it done first, because it's going to be the hardest. Hardest now, hardest because it's the last round. All right, so let's get ourselves into the plank, starting in 3, 2, 1, and here we go. All right, so challenging ourselves, seeing if we can take a couple of little steps back. Hold this position here. Okay, if you're not going to make it, you can always walk back forward. And we'll try our best to just stay in that strong plank position, some kind of plank. For just over 30 seconds, my friends. You got this. You do. There it is. Okay, nice deep inhale, exhales. 20 seconds left, you guys. There it is. Okay, focusing on your breath. Slow and controlled. 10 more seconds. So close, you guys are almost there. 3, 2, 1, and the planking is done. Nice work, you guys. Plank done. Okay, we're gonna get these last 2 crunch variations out of the way for the abs, and then we are all the way done. We got a couple of stretches that you will be happy to do coming at you at the end. You are free to go. All right, here we go. That was us. Let's start this up. Using that breath, trying to think about our abs, think about our core. Now we're approaching that time. Maybe you've already had this feeling starting to happen, but we're getting really worked. We're getting really fatigued in our core and our ab muscles. We might start to feel that kind of dull, aching sensation in our lower back, especially because of the combination of these exercises. These 3 together, they really are very core focused. And anytime we have a lot of work and focus on one group of muscles or one muscle, they usually will ask the opposing muscles to help them out. And so because we're doing so much crunching and ab work here, 15 seconds left on this one, by the way, you're still going, you might feel that kind of dull aching sensation in your back. And so it's okay, as long as it's not sharp, it's not pinchy. Okay, if that's happening, then stop and do something that does not make it happen. And rest. Good job, you guys. All right, so we're resting, we're breathing, woo, taking deep breaths, 15 seconds of rest, and then we're gonna start our final one, those straight legs, toe touch crunches. Okay, so same thing. If we're starting to feel that pain, you can work through it as long as it's not that sharp pain. Okay, here we go. That was your extremely quiet beat to start your final set of our last circuit, our last exercise. Woo, let's do it. Okay, so last one, you guys. We are so close to the finish line. So we'll finish as strong as we can here. Breathing through this. There it is. Halfway, 30 seconds left, and you will be there. There it is. Nice job, you guys. Exhaling as those shoulder blades leave the floor. Inhaling on the way down. Okay, we'll go through about 3 or 4 deep breaths in and out with those crunches, and you will be there. All right, so close. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and time. The very last extremely subtle beat. Nice work, you guys. Okay. So we are going to stretch it out, starting off with our hips. Because of all that crunching and core work that we just did, we will get ourselves up into our half kneeling hip flexor position, which right away I'm going to grab my mat and double it up because my kneecap does not like that so much on this hard floor with this flimsy mat. So I doubled it up here. You can also grab a towel, cushion, something like that. Also talked recently about our standing version, which works just as well. It's just a little bit different for those of you who don't like to stand when you do this, or don't like to put that pressure on your kneecap. So pelvic tilt is important. So you have that pelvis tilting under like so. Feeling that stretch in the hip here. If you guys want to feel it more, we can extend that arm over top of our head. But I don't need to do that because I feel it so much right away. And if I do that, it's too much stretch. It should just be tension. It shouldn't be like a painful stretch. So we'll hold this here 60 seconds. I'm going to do one set with you guys so that you get one good climb to do a couple more sets. It will help make this reinforce the stretch that we're doing if you do it a couple more times. But at least one is better than none. All right, so we'll switch sides and we'll hold the other side for 60 seconds. Just going to turn around here. And I always like to hold on to the wall or something when I'm stretching. Not necessary, but just so that we don't have to worry about balance. If there's enough time for balance. So we'll hold this other side, same pelvic tilt. Squeezing your butt back here, trying to feel that in the hip. And this one feels oh so nice after all of those leg lifts and crunching that we did, the planking. So we'll breathe through this about 20 more seconds. Okay, so a couple more deep breaths, you guys. So we're going to go through one more stretch. Like I've said, feel free to come back here, do this one again. Okay, this is a really good one to do, especially if you are prone to a tight lower back or if you have lower back pain. Oftentimes that's caused from tight hips because we sit on our asses so much during the day, which is not our fault, but it's just a fact of life. And so stretching these guys out helps that. Okay, so last one we're going to do is for our glutes. Just gonna lay my mat out, and is this one. Oh, this one feels so nice. Back of our hips, so I'm gonna put my ankle on top of my opposite knee. Some of us might feel this stretch right here. Okay, but if you want it, make it a little bit more, you can reach through and grab this leg, or you can even go up against a wall. Well, I'm gonna do it because it feels so nice. And put your foot, my foot on this cabinet here, and then we can hold this stretch down here instead. My blurry screen, I can see it's totally blurry there. I don't know why it does this. Focus me. It won't. That's okay. All right, so you guys are gonna hold this here. We're holding our first side, 60 seconds, at least, for these stretches, we want at least a minute. Anything less than 30 seconds does not really do much of anything. So 60 is a sweet spot. Anything longer is great, but if you're like me, you're a little ADD when it comes to stretching, or maybe you just like know you're done the workout, so you're just done. Some people have no problem with like stretching and taking time to stretch, but I do, and I always have, and so that's why we're doing this together, so that you get it done. If you feel me on that, then you know what's up. So we'll switch sides, you guys. Should have been holding that first side that entire time. We'll switch and hold the second. So last minute here, stretching out the glutes, the back of the hips. You should feel that here, maybe a bit in your hamstring, a bit in the lower back. And you are stretching. So I'm going to leave you guys with this stretch, the other one we did. If there's anything else that you guys want to do, stretching out your lower back, maybe you want to do some of this rotation and take some time. This is always a really nice one to do after all that stuff that we just did. Helps us loosen up the back, the hips. If you want to turn around and do your child's pose, going through that cat-cow, sitting on your heels, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with yourselves to finish off your stretching, whether you want to do a couple more sets, some different stretches. You guys are so done with me. So thank you so much for joining me live. Thanks, Bobby, for coming out and hanging out with me in the Zoom room. You guys rock, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, and I hope you feel good, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.